Welcome, everyone. My name is Tony Carkman, President of Civil CAD Learning Solutions and also President of the DFWBIUG Infrastructure User Group. And welcome to another session of Revit webinar. And today we have two special guests, industry experts, and we have Rena and we also have Newman. So today we're going to go over third-party apps. What are some of their favorite third-party apps going over Revit? I'm not a Revit specialist, so I'm going to be trying to sit in and learning some of these cool things they're using to be more productive and efficient. So Newman or Rita, if y'all want to take it over, let y'all go. Whoever wants to go first.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I think I'm kind of chomping at the bit here to go. So,
you want to push me under the bus here?
I always do that. Remember?
I thought you were going to do it.
So, folks, as you may know, Noman and I, we're pretty much the superb team. We've that's what we are known as at AU, and here we are, and we are going to be fighting each other again as to which third-party app is the best for Revit. And as you may know, I have this long-standing love affair with PyRevit, and everything that PyRevit does, I stay on top of it, and I play with the tools. Some of them I don't like, but some of them I absolutely, absolutely love. So I'm going to share my screen before I start talking and nobody knows what I'm talking about. And here we go. And here we go. All right, I believe I'm sharing my screen. Yes, I am. And I'm just going to move this a little way below. And as you can see, I have multiple sessions of Revit running. Now, all right, I'm going to start looking at PyRevit from the top right-hand corner. Now, PyRevit has a variety of tools that come along with it. And you can load, unload, uninstall, disable them as you feel like. So I'm going to start from the top right corner. I'm going to look at the template tools. And one of my favorite things to do is this, to generate the filled region swatches. In order to do that, what I do is I go into a drafting view. Let's do this. Let's start up a drafting view. And take a look at what this does. I generate filled region swatches. I give it a minute. What PyRevit does is it looks at my model. It pulls up swatches of every single filled region type that I have, and all of them are labeled and tagged as well. So this is a great ready reference for while you're working. My other favorite location to be, the white tools. And I don't know if you've noticed this or not. Have you ever had a lot of fun trying to purge out your viewport types? And there are a couple that will not purge out. If you go into the unpurgeable viewport types, PyRevit will pull them up for you and you can get rid of them. Also, another one which has really made me think, white data schema. You can go in and clean out the schema. Remember the Revit 2024 schema conflict? I do believe that this would help.
Just be careful. Make sure you test it on a file, because not on your live project. You definitely want to do that. And the other thing is, hey, Rena, did you tell them about how to get to this template one? I forgot. Okay.
I will. It's going to come in sequence. If I start jumping all over the place, then nobody's going to get anything.
Got it.
Okay, so the collaboration cache. Now everybody was excited about being able to map to the collaboration cache. And have you gone to the collaboration cache and seen those really weird file names? Well, now you can look at the collaboration cache and, hey, I can see a project. I can see another project. And now you can see that the collaboration cache makes a lot of sense. And you can see that my collaboration cache is an absolute mess and I do need to clean it up. Pre-flight checks. This is one of my favorites, and I can run a check on my model. Yes, I'm going to do this. And now you can see that you've got this really nice, very graphic very graphic representation of what's going on. So I've got some non-parametric families over here. And this will also take you to the best practices, what to do and what not to do when you click on them. I've got a bunch of generic models, and this gives you a graphical representation of what your model health is like. Manage keynotes. Okay, my bad. I should have had a keynote file, but let's go on.
I was going to go in detail about this, Rena.
Okay, then I'm going to leave that to you.
And the 3D legends.
Oh, yeah, those are fun. Those are a lot of fun.
Okay.
Renumber. Renumber is a really good one. This will allow you to renumber elements. Maybe I should be in a plan view for this. There we go. I can go into renumber, and now I can pick the element type that I want to renumber or I don't want to renumber. I hit escape and I can go out of this. Naman, were you going to do color splasher?
No, I won't.
All right. So now section box, if I do this now, I'm in a 3D view, and let me get out of the temporary view. And I've got a section box. My section box is turned on. Let's apply this. And let us uncrop this. So what I can do is I can toggle the section box on. There we go. And that's why I didn't see this, the section box. And I can toggle this off. Remember, for this capability to work, you must have the section box activated in your 3D view. However, let's go over to the real fun stuff, the extensions. Now, if I go into PyRevit extensions now, I see there's a bunch of stuff that has been created by the PyRevit team. And here are some of my favorites. You do have the creator extension, which will allow you to create custom PyRevit tools. At the core is what is enabled by default when you get in. In order to enable something, so if I look at, let's look at PyRevit tags. I can enable this package right at this location, or I can install. So we've got PyApex, and I can install this extension. You can be in Revit. Revit can be open, Revit cannot be open, it doesn't really matter. But once you install or enable the extension, it will appear magically. I've got some of my favorite extensions installed, the EF tools. The EF tools have got a lot of really cool things that you can do. My personal favorites are the filled regions. I'm going to go into this plan, and I do know that there are filled regions over here. There are a lot of filled regions over here. So let's do this, and I can create filled regions from ceilings or floors. I can split a filled region. So this is my filled region, and hang on, let me grab a filled region. Let me isolate it. I'm just going to create a filled region. All right, so I can split with a line. I should have had a line before, shouldn't I have? So I'm going to start with the filled region. Oh, that's why. And I want a line. So if I start with my filled region and I want to split this. That's my filled region. And I should have tested this, shouldn't I have? Let's go on to something else. Let's go into, here we go. A Pikealizer. Let's go into Pikealizer. Now, you can colorize element in your 3D view or even in a view by category. Let's go into the 3D view. And in your 3D view, I can colorize the walls. Let's zoom in closer. And now we've got this, we've got the walls isolated, we've got the colorized. Similarly, in the plan view, I can go into my view. Let's colorize the ceilings. This is an RCP. Now, what's really neat is that once I reset this, and you can actually filter by a particular value. So if I do this and I go into ceilings again, let me select, this is going to bring up the ceiling parameters. And when I select area, now you would be able to see that, let's give it a minute. And now all of the ceilings have been colored by area. So this is kind of nice. This is kind of a nice way to get some clarity in your view. Now, other PyRevit things, which are really, really helpful. Legends have been a pain point for a very long time. So I can create a list. I can list out all the legends that are sheeted. This is another way of making sure that that you've got the right legends on the right sheet. Kind of in addition to the icons that we have over here that show whether legends have been, any view has been sheeted or not. My personal favorite out of this are these two. Convert drafting to legend and convert legend to drafting, especially when you're dealing with a template that has a lot of content that has been inherited from the AutoCAD side of things. And you have a lot of information in drafting views. You can take those drafting views and convert them into legends. So what I like about this workflow is that I can keep the drafting views for standard details or even for any other 2D line work that is required. But the legends, they are kind of separated as a different category. In addition, you can copy legends to other documents, and you can also copy legends as drafting views to other documents. That's a game changer, to put it mildly. Finally, and this is the last one I'm going to talk about, make pattern, where you can sketch anything randomly. So stay in the project view and just use regular line work. And I'm just drawing with regular lines. And let me see if I can mirror these. All right. So now if I start off with this line work selected and I go back into make pattern, now this will ask me for a name. I'm not feeling particularly creative right now. I want to create a model pattern and I want to create the pattern. Now PyRevit starts to prompt me, and this wants me to start with the bottom left, go up to the top right. And this allows my cursor to snap to the right location. And now I have got a pattern that has been created. So if I try to, let's see if this works. I haven't been having very good luck today. But if I try to create a region, And I'm just going to edit this from solid white. And I want a pattern. Let's edit this. Let's go into, let's see if this works. My pattern should be right at the end. There is my pattern. Not bad. Things are looking up for me, aren't they? So I can hit OK. There we are. And apply. And my pattern hasn't shown up because it's the wrong scale. So we should go in and we should edit it, shouldn't we? And let's try and there we are. We would have a pattern if we could see it. Maybe not white. I like pink. And so this is what we have. So if you plan the line work that you create, you can create a pattern that tiles the way that you want it to be. And it could be straight lines, it could be splines, it could be whatever it is that you want it to be. And with that, hey, I'm at 19 minutes. Not bad, right?
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. Wow. Over to you, Naman.
Oh, okay. I'll take
Good
over.
stuff.
Thanks. Let's see. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, hold on. Let's get me going. Let me start the presentation. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Okay, there we go. Share screen. So, hey, everyone. My name is Maman Maisarwala. I'll talk about some Revit add-ins that I like to use a lot, and just want to go over some of those, my favorite ones. Just a little about me. I have recently, well, about 8 months ago, I moved to Toronto, enjoying the life here. I'm also an Autodesk Expert Elite speaker mentor at AU and a top speaker now, luckily. Thank you all for selecting me that way. But today, let's just jump straight into Revit and see what we can learn, a few new things that I am used to working with within Revit. So you can see the top of my screen, can you, Tony? Because I have
Yes.
the
Well,
zoom
the top
bar
of the
there.
Revit, yes.
Okay, yeah, because I just had the zoom bar on top of me, so that's why. Okay, so number one, well, what I, of course, my favorite, I mean, let's just go to the add-ins tab, okay? That's the really neat one because there are some tools that add them to this add-in tab. My all-time favorite is Auto Section Box. The biggest thing about that is that, yes, Revit built it in-house now or in the software itself. But if you select an object, yes, you can get quickly to a 3D view of that object, like just that element. However, even this has been for the oldest, I think like AutoCAD, I mean, Revit 2013 and stuff, it was implemented there. The really neat thing about this one is let's look at some of our elevation views or section views that are show up on a floor plan. So we'll take a look at those and see if we can see anything on there. So if I select a section mark like this and go to add-ins and then auto section box, I'll just create that. You can define a buffer. You can even assign a template to as well, and it will make the section exactly and to convert it into a 3D view for you. Revit doesn't do it. You can do it by right-clicking, orient to view sections, and then find your sections, and then finally it goes around doing that. This way it's very quick. Now the next other one that I use a lot here is this guy right here. I love this KEO work sets management tool. It allows you to basically move objects to different work sets. So if let me just let's say select a few of these and I'm going to move them onto this work set, and all I have to do is select this and I say assign selected elements to work set, and it'll change the work set right away. The nice thing about this is if I open this up and I see, oh yeah, all the levels are not, or grids are not on the right work set, I can just come in here and fix it all in one shot. The other nice one is especially this one is if you have links in the project, you can put them on the correct. I have noticed that I have this site link on a structural, but it shouldn't be on there. I can just say, oh, okay, create me a new one, and here say Revit models. My typical notation is let's say 90 _ link _ site, and then underscore at the end, and say assign each file separately. And notice that it creates that new work set for me very quickly. Of course, it does also create all these work sets, views, 3D views for you with the work sets, and say, just select that. If you want prefix, I'll just say, WKST hyphen, and say create separate views for each work set. And the tool will basically go in and create those 3D views very, very quickly for us. And now I can do some diagnosis. Okay, this is all that stuff in the core and shell. This is on vertical circulation and stuff. You can easily do that. However, let me just show you one other thing that is helpful to work with within Revit here. And as you can see, my site is floating up there. Let me just hide it from the view. I was just testing with this model with the topography and stuff. So sorry about that. But you can also, at the bottom of your screen right here, they changed this icons a bit where it says work sets. So it tells you what work set each object is by colorizing it by work set. Then you can also look at if somebody has checked out elements. That way, none of the checkouts, so it's all grayed out right now. Model updates, anything that has been updated. Next, I'll do this is set to work sets again, just to kind of show you, and you can then diagnose, okay, this guy is on my site work set. If you want to configure those type of thing, you can go in and say work sharing display settings. I know this is not an add-in, but it kind of helps tremendously to work those out. So you can assign certain colors to certain work sets in your project, and they will show those as well. So that's a really neat tool here. I'll just say work sharing display off. The last but not least, within the same tool, the KEO tool, is this guy right there, families. So if I'm looking at this and note, it'll show you all the elements within the project that are on certain work sets. And we want to make sure that, hey, things are on the correct work set or not. You can do that here. See if I have my entourage on the entourage and rendering work set, model text as well, signage and stuff. However, let's say if I have another work set called lighting and stuff, I can just quickly move those by selecting right here. So let's say I wanted to move it on FFE just for fun here. I can say assign work set, and boom, it changes it right away. So that's a really neat, quick way to manage work sets and stuff. So if I would highly recommend this. These are all available on the App Store. We can again share this information with you, the links to it. Another one, my project sweeper. I know I'm kind of making it run. The last time it was in 2022, I believe, or 21, but I'm still 2021. Yeah. I'm running it in 2025 too. Most of all of it works now still. The other one, Revit Lookup. I mean, this tool has been improved tremendously over the years. Before it was like you couldn't select search elements, you couldn't do a lot of that. Now, this tool has become really, really powerful, where I can just come in and launch this. And let's say if I'm looking for a shared element, a shared parameters, and I want to purge that shared parameter out, and I don't care about that, whether it shows up in something or not, I can just now right click on it and say, either I can say show element if it is an element, or I can right click on it and say delete. So it will delete the whole, but be careful when you do these type of things, deleting shared parameters, because if you even delete the project parameter, the shared parameter still stays in the back end of the project. So you can then use this tool to kind of get rid of it. The other part is the import instances that are in the project. You can take a look at those too. So I can come in here, everything here, CAD link types. Oh, this guy right there, where is it? Some of them do show up, but the other ones don't, depending on where they are exactly located. Let me see. Oh, this is let me go to the main page again, and then go to the database and search for import. I'll say import instances and say show element right here. And it takes you to the view that shows that object somewhere. That's this object that is showing itself. So this is a very nifty tool now. I mean, I really, really like it. After I think they have improved it tremendously. So another one that I mean, of course, PyRevit is there. DieRoots is there. Those are, a great tool. For this is they just recently added 2 new items. One is this quick views, and that's the one and the one parameter. I'm going to talk about quick views, and I also compare it with something else here. So if I'm looking at, I have the version 1.8 installed that's now compatible with Revit 2025 too. So I'm looking at creating these views. So I can create call out views, and I can create elevation or section views for rooms. So I have my room category. I'm going to turn off, I don't have spaces, so it doesn't matter really. So I want to create elevations for certain rooms, treatment room, entry, triage, things like that. Let's just keep it 4 or 5 of them. Entry, and then 4 of them. Okay. And I can check the box here and go to the settings. Okay. So here, what elevation type I want to use? I want to use the interior elevation type. Section, I'm not even using it, but I'll just, it doesn't. Now you can also select the scale of the room, the view, phase, new construction, medium, fine detail in this case. I mean, some of it is driven by the view template. If you already have it, which I'm going to use in this case. So elevation interiors, 1/4 inch, and that the template I have. And you can control a lot of these, the offsets and stuff like that, but naming configuration. So here's a really neat tool too. You can make up, so I'm going to do a custom field. The custom field would be, let's say I will say INEL for interior elevations. And then field separator, I can use a underscore if I want, and I will add this to the list. Then I can go in and say, oh, I need the number of the room, then the name of the room, and last, maybe the view count, or, you can't do north, south, east, west, but because it doesn't, we can. So view count, just in case. And the start value is 1. Notice that clockwise, north, And then lastly, if you wanted to assign any custom parameters, the view group, but in my case, it's already been assigned with the view template. So I'm going to hit apply and click on create. Oh, forgot about the call out views, but okay. Sorry about that. Okay, there's an internal error, but that's okay. So it shows you like, that what it has done. So I'm going to configure the call out view as well here. Same thing, what one I'm going to say enlarge, view scale, 1/4 inch, view template, enlarge floor plans, 1/4 inch. Okay. And then call out boundary, offset from boundary. I'll just do like 6 inches or so and hit naming configuration. Again, I have to say, enlarge floor. Okay. FPE for enlarged floor plan, field separator _ and then I can add it to the list, and then I'll just do the again, so the number and the name, and then say apply. Hit create. Hit close. Oh, sorry, I pressed the button. Apologies. Still have double creations there, sorry. Okay, so I can close that. Now we can take a look at what it has created. So if I go to my sheet views and let's see my interior elevations, see that it automatically created all these interior elevations for me. I'm looking at my floor plan. Let's just go to the main floor plan and do that one. And we can take a look at it. I forget which floor it was, though. And then look at the enlarged floor plans. It can do right there. Oh, enlarged floor plans is somewhere else. Apologies. Right there. No, it didn't create the call out. I don't know why it didn't do it, but nonetheless, it creates these elevations for you. As I said, you can control, okay, by default do 8 feet, which I did not do in this case, but you can set that up within this. So it does very quickly create. The only downside is it doesn't put those sheet objects on the these views onto a sheet and arrange it really, really nicely. Maybe the sheet gen could do it. I have not played with it yet much because we don't have a need for it. But I do love sheet link as well. So that sheet link tool allows you to basically dive into your database. Pretty neat stuff. You can export this out, edit it in Excel, and bring it back in. It does allow you to export some of the project standards. So if I export these standards, you can export it to Google Sheets too. But let's just, I'm just gonna save it here. So here, this is the project information. So if you wanted to change the project information, yep, I can do that. That's that, and then all that data, model objects. You can change colors here. And the really neat part is that it does give you the locked-in values, what Revit does allow here. So abutments, let's say I just want to make it really, really heavy for some reason here. I can do that. The colors, you'll have to kind of do the RGB types. Then let's look at annotation objects. Same thing, you can manage all that in one area. Imported categories, if you wanted to manage that. Line styles, if you want to manage it in mass. So you can do this right here. So let's say I'm just going to go in and say, okay, these some of these, let's see, maybe, okay, lines, this line should be 10. 10 right there. And the color, I can probably just say, okay, I want this color. So I can copy that and then come in here and say, oh, Okay, these lines make it this color. And then families, you can rename families here as well if you wanted to, or types even. Let's see. And these are the instructions that some things you can do, some things they are read-only, and some things are typed. Now, once I save this file, I can import this back in. This guy. Model updated. Let's just check on it. So first and foremost, let's go manage and then say go to project information. The company organization name, I change it to my own right here. Then let's go to object styles and annotate. Oh, no, not annotation objects. Oh, wait, hold on. Lines are not here. Duh. My apologies. Line styles. I don't know why they can't just have a default that it expands. I mean, every single I don't know which versions it has this setup. I don't know why. So notice that I changed the lines to 10 and then changed the color. Boom. It took care of it very, very quick. I mean, you can do in mass editing or compare it with other files and stuff, or export it out from one project and bring it into another project. I would not recommend importing in another file, but I would just say export out from both and then copy the data from Excel and copy it in here. It can do a lot more feature sets associated with it. Let me just talk about it another. So if I go in and if I look at my schedules, of course, you can export out a schedule. Let me just go. Okay, I'll just do the sheet index. Okay, and I'm gonna say okay, this one, or you can do multiple too. By the way, I'll say okay, go schedule. Fine, export, and I would say keep formatting of the schedules unchecked, because if you do that, then you can't re-import it back in. So I'll export it out to Excel in this case again, This is great for sheet editing too. By the way, so here, anything that is gray, we can't edit. They're locked. These values are locked too, as well. Notice at the bottom, if you do multiple of them, then you have to kind of switch there. If you look at this sheets, I have another submission coming in with 100%. I know now you can, select multiple sheets and change the values, but it's easier sometimes if you wanted to change a lot of sheets that way, so you can edit it here, numbering, whatever it is that you want to add the data here, can add it edit it very, very quickly. And then once I save this, and again, import that in from Excel and select my schedule export. And if I look at my schedule, and schedules, let's look at these, my sheet schedules, right there. Notice that I filled those in that. Now, the power doesn't limit it to those elements. I mean, like, don't have to have a schedule associated with it. This is where the real power comes in, where you can dive into some of the inside stuff, basically, and modify those values. So ceilings, let's say if I'm doing ceilings, I can say, okay, export by type ID. It'll show you what type of data is available here. You can develop, let's say, some of these values. These are type-based values, and I have to do it by export by type ID. Otherwise, these yellow ones are not editable at all in this case. So that's all this information you can get hold of. The other way is basically, the green ones are basically your instance or I think it's instance parameter or not. Yeah, the instance parameters and stuff. Height offset from level, and this is not as powerful as BIM but it gets you a lot of stuff from the back end of it. Of when you select objects basically within that. So, and it's a good database export tool too when it comes to that. There are many other Excel ones, but I think this is by far the best one I have used so far, aside from BIM, which is an ideate tool. So let's go now also look at my other tool under PyRevit. So there are a few other stuff that is they just recently added. There used to be an ad, there is an add-in rather that had that functionality, but now it's been added to PyRevit as well. So if I'm going to let's just go schedule door panel types. I haven't added anything, but what I need to do is let's just go to annotate and say legend component. And I can place a legend component of, let's say I want my casework. That's the plan view. And then I can choose the front. Oh, choose the back. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this one's backwards. Apologies. Right. And then I'm going to put another one in. The front one, I'll switch it out, by the way. So, and then I have the floor plan taken care of. So now I can do this. Take this one. I'm going to PyRevit, and then I go to my legends, and within the legend, now here it is. You can have a 3D orientation of the cabinet in PyRevit. Now we can easily create those. Now the issue with it is that depending on your object, you can't, rotation is limited. You cannot dimension it at all. So if I try to dimension, there is limited dimensioning capabilities available if I am doing it through the on a 3D view. So just FYI with that, that's just a limitation. I mean, this is a hack. So because by default, Revit cannot do ledges in a 3D view. So just know that fact. The other part is that let's just do a wall here quickly. So let me do another legend component, and do walls. Let's do this one. I'll just do multiple views. I can do a section cut like that within that wall. However, now I can select this guy and PyRevit and come in and legends. I can use the 3D view of it. Yes, it is huge. So just be careful. Not everything can be easily done. So there are some limitations on it. Just do is let's go here. Section orientation. That's a default one, but I just wanted to show you that this is something really neat if you have to describe some elements like this. This casework was a bad example in general because I should have used a different element that faces correctly. This family was built for a reason. Okay, let's just go. Let's see if I have furniture. Yeah, let's just do that. The plan view of it, and then of course this is going to be backwards too. And 3D. No, okay. So that's somewhat you can do that very, very easily. So now I have like 10 more minutes and I'll just go over some talk about the manage keynotes. Okay. So I'll just show you what it is. Oh, my ADC is not running. Did it die? Oh, it died. It crashed. So if you know, did you know, I don't know if you noticed it, but that's a really neat thing that it gave us the warning that this file is on ADC. The problem with Keynote files is that they do not get locked on ACC. So I can edit it, Joe can edit it, and Jane can edit it at the same time. Last one saving wins, basically. So the biggest problem comes into play is, how do you lock the file? Well, let's see what it does. So Keynote Manager, not Keynote Manager, it says Manage Keynotes tool, because Keynote Manager by Revolution Designs, Steven has done an amazing job for many, many years, and that tool is just invaluable. But for BIM 360 locking and stuff, this tool is great. So I can edit it, modify it, and let's check if it gets locked in the system or not. Probably doesn't, but if somebody else was trying to edit it, it would have shown. Once I start editing it, I can add a new keynote here. This is the part I don't like. You have to create the key yourself, which maybe I'm doing it incorrectly. And then I can say test keynote. Let's see if this, so it puts it in a sync status. That way it doesn't, and say add keynote. And then it syncs the file, and and somebody else tries to do it, it'll make sure that it's not causing issues there. The other neat thing about this tool is the fact that also you can just say place the node directly. So I can do user keynote, and I can just double select that, and I can place it directly. So by double clicking on it. Wait, come on. Maybe I'm in the wrong view. Yeah, let me just switch back to a different view and then try it again. Manage keynotes again. And then let's just select this guy. I'm going to add a user keynote. You can also double click on it, and it places that keynote for you in the project right there. Rather than, you have to reload, edit, whatnot, this is all in here. So the other part is that understanding how it organizes it. So if I'm looking at it, these are the categories, the main folder, or main categories that you want to at the top level. So if I want to look at just one of the categories, you can do that here. The other part is that when you are selecting something, I would recommend, here I can select if I wanted to add something here under this guy, what I need to do is I click on it, and then it will add the keynote there. It says parent keynote is 015000. Problem is I wish it automatically did it, but it doesn't, unfortunately. That's where really the other tool shines. This guy right here, you can change the key of it. Like if you wanted to edit the key of it, you can easily do that here, and add a keynote as a child to the selected keynote. In this case, his edit just the data associated with it, remove it. You can duplicate it, and then also you can change the category too. So let's say if I select this guy and I say, change the category from there to move it to concrete for some odd reason. Notice that, let me fold this out. The whole children also went with it. So it does a really good job at it. Now let's do this. One other thing, that when you start using this, there is a little nuance that you have to work with. Let me switch the keynote. and say Keynote settings, and I'm going to point to a different file on ACC docs. So browse, lazy browsing. So I'm going to go to the last folder I used, and then I'll just do Revit Imperial Keynotes, and I'll open it and hit OK. Now I can go back into Keynote Manager. You can do it through the Keynote Manager too. I just wanted to show you that it, if in case you load this all the time and now you decide to launch it. Notice it says existing Keynote file needs to be converted to format that is usable by this tool. And so do you want to connect, so I will convert it and I'll show you what that does for you. So while it's converting it, notice that this is a standard Revit Keynote file. It's just based on, tabs. And then, by the way, this is my favorite editor, Notepad++. Some people like Sublime, but this is my favorite. The typical format of this is that this is the key itself, the description, and the last item is which heading does it belong to, what's the tree of it. So basically this falls under division 1 directly. Then this guy says, okay, I'm going to, so this is a little bit more technical than I want to get to here, but at least I want to, here is the one that that is converted. Okay, so if you look at this guy right here, it has built-in locks and stuff like that it works with BIM 360 or ACC docs, which are desktop connector, but it keeps track of this just in case if there is an issue, file is locked and whatnot, and then it still is not unlocked because it could be that somebody's machine crashed or something. Be cautious in editing some of these, but I like to get into the, what's it called? Under the hood type. I'm under the hood type person. So that's what but the nice thing is that it doesn't destroy the Keynote file. You can still use it in the, regular, as a regular Keynote file. It just adds these extra lines that allows it to control how things are organized and whatnot. So with that, I think we have 5 minutes, but I think we'll stop here. There are other many tools. I mean, the EF tools within the PyRevit, as Veena showed, that you can load other extensions here. The ones up in, there are plenty. These guys have done a great job. I mean, Eric Fritz, Pykalizer is one she showed you as well. There's MEP tools as well. Install that one. And what it does is it closes that and then loads it up, those extensions for you. They can check it out, what the feature sets are. It gives you a link to GitHub and stuff, and then boom, you can go very quickly. What I did create, though, the one that I like, I mean, this one does view transfer. View filters transfer to another view, or even templates. With Pykalizer, the nice thing that I used in here the other day, I showed you the quick views, but this one can generate sheets as well, not just the views. So it can place it on a sheet directly, and that's the really neat part about it that I like. With that said, a last one is my favorite, is this transfer single from Joe Tools. This is worth the money. I can transfer even 3D view. I mean, even what's it called? Model views. I can transfer call outs. I can transfer all kinds of stuff from this tool, and from one file to another. I mean, that's just, and it can rename and stuff, but this is, I mean, you can look at what type of stuff I can transfer with it. Even phases, you can just a single phase you can transfer. You can sketch, single templates, title blocks. I mean, you name it. I mean, it has, you can transfer very, very quickly. Some of the items that you can't even do it. I mean, like it's with transfer standard, it's all or nothing. Here, it allows you to kind of transfer one at a time. I mean, I use this all the time, especially when I'm doing model views. It can even transfer work sets. So that's cool. But with that said, that's all I had for you guys. Hope you liked it. And if you have any questions, yeah, jump on LinkedIn and then start posting questions, and we can answer it when you get a chance, or in the YouTube.
Yeah, really great stuff. I can tell you got a lot of them installed, a lot of third-party apps installed. I see about 8 on your ribbon.
Yeah, I test some of them, and you know what?
Yeah.
It gets a little bit hairy sometimes. So I do use this old and gold stuff. It's called Revit Add-in Manager. You can find it online somewhere, but that one allows me to kind of quickly enable and disable rather than uninstalling. If I just wanted to disable some of them, I can come in here and say, oh, this guy, I want to disable this, things like that.
Okay,
So
that's cool. Yeah, that's a cool app. I guess, looking over the apps y'all both kind of presented, I didn't see, maybe I missed it, apps that do like design analysis to see if something is following industry standard design elements. Like, is it following this? Does it tell you, hey, you didn't meet code or international code with this? I didn't see too many of that unless I completely missed it. Do you have apps like that do analysis of design with steps and walls and windows where it's looking at codes and say, hey, this is incorrect based on maybe code that you wrote up, and you can actually, like in Civil 3D, we can create, certain design elements and say, hey, this, these are my codes for utility separations and stuff like that, class detection. Are there apps like that,
Yeah, there are. I mean, like one of them is the interoperability tools, and it does some of the things. It doesn't have everything in it, but it does a lot that in terms of the model checker, because what this does is, I don't know if you have this, there is a configurator available, and it has a lot of standards. So it says Autodesk model checker configurator for Revit. Actually, Stephen Faust wrote it for Autodesk. But I mean, like, there are, if you are submitting it for, let's say, a certain client ones, it has it already built into it. This Veterans Affairs space attributes. Let's just open that up. So if you run your model with it, through it, it says, okay, rooms. What are within the general requirements of a room? What is required in it? General room list. It does have specific checks, that it can do. And so what do they look like? I mean, you can edit them and stuff where check what exactly they are. So
that's a handy tool.
Yeah, it is a very, very. I mean, it's been there for a while. Used to be called BIM interoperability tools. You can, however, also there are built-in ones, but there are client-based ones too, which is the great about it, is that you can the client can give you all these information, and it checks how whether these fulfill some of your requirements within the project. Of course, this one won't. Let me open a different one here. The one, I mean, this is my old time Dr. Revit class when I did a long time ago, and it has like model information, what Revit version it is and stuff like that. It exports out a Excel file where you can load it in and import it into Power BI. Now, Autodesk also have created, you can take these and load it in through ACC, which is called the validation tool. So you can run those validations on a regular basis on your BIM 360/ACC models, but you configure it still here. So my favorite one was like, okay, line patterns, imported line patterns. Okay, well, you can select this type of stuff. Now, there are other analysis tools in terms of like Solibri does. There are other, content checking tools. I mean, there is a plethora of them that are specific tied to what you need to get out. I think Solibri is kind of more wholesale that works on even the model itself, the 3D portions of it. In this one, I don't think you can do much. I mean, you can say if there is a duplicate element, yeah, you can do that. But I mean, you can probably make it do it with all these operators and stuff like that. So I can edit this guy, like, I have parameter checking, or you can do other things to it, but it's still limited to some of the what's it called, metadata checking in this case. I mean, the Autodesk built-in also now has I mean, the Kobe, this has a Kobe client too. You can assign classification, room and area sync. You can, but it could, sync data between different files and that. And then Kobe extension is very well, but in general, there is an analyze tab within Revit, and the best one out here that they added for architects at least. Sorry, I have a bias here. Apologies. You can do is route analysis. So these route analysis tools from within the path of travel reveal objects, what things, and it calculates the distance, how, for egress travel, or something is blocking or things like that. So you can make it do that, and energy analysis, of course. And then
I've seen those.
This is the part where mechanical engineering, and within 2024 and 25, there's a lot of updates to electrical systems too, analysis. So they have improved the heating analysis tools as well. And so
I guess my next question, I mean, I'm not a Revit user, and that may be a dumb question, but if somebody else is in the file, does it, I don't know if it does this, and it'd be cool if it doesn't, it'd be cool if it did this, but let's say somebody's working on the wall, you're in the model and somebody's modifying a wall. Does it highlight or indicate where somebody's making changes? Or you just say, hey, it just lets you know somebody else is in the model?
It just lets you know that somebody else is in the model.
Wouldn't it be nice if it would highlight
a
wall or something they're working on, and it's like a transparent color, and it's just letting you know, hey, this is being changed. So wherever you're at, it's just highlighting the item, letting you know somebody is actually in there modifying that, and it's staying active. And once they get out of the model, you can see the highlighted feature disappear.
Yeah. So
the only thing it does, it just gives you a warning, and it tells you that the other person needs to relinquish the element.
Yeah. So in this case, I mean, I showed you this the work sharing display.
Okay? Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty cool.
If that was basically does, because it says owners or checkout status of some object. If I wanted to look at, so let's see, checkout status is this. If somebody else was working, I mean, I'll just select these objects and say, make elements editable, and notice these turn green. That means that, hey, this guy, based on my configuration here, owned by me, owned by others, who the owners are.
Okay,
I mean, people that's what it does, is exactly. There is a setting.
I'm sorry. And Revit also has a who did what tool.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice. It's a nice way to go back and basically pinpoint who did something wrong.
Yeah.
It does.
Now I know online you can collaborate when people are in the same model, and you can sit there and have a collaboration meeting, with the message board, right? So
so there is some accountability too in here. My thing if it froze, but you can also, when you switch to which work set it is on and stuff, you can hover over the element. Let's say, so let me go to work sets. Okay, if I hover over this guy right there, it'll tell me, hey, come on, hover, show me. Oh, okay, I know why it's not showing me. Just a second.
Turn
my tooltips were off. That's why. Sorry. It tells me like, okay, created by this, last updated in central by, who did it. So that's another quick way of telling it. What Rena was talking about is that you can select an object right here by Revit. You can come in here under team and it says who did what. and it only allows you one, and then you can say who reloaded keynotes last, or I can say who created this select. Okay, the current owner, created is Bimologist, last changed by Bimologist. The really neat thing about this is that you can select, let's say, a print setting or something if you know how to get to it through Revit lookup. And once it's selected, you can do who did what, and you can see who changed the setting in the back end. So it's like, no, I'm just kidding. Great question, though.
Yeah, I think that's a cool tool. Yeah, you can see who's in the model, who's making changes and stuff. There's nothing like that in Civil 3D because you can't get in the file. You can get in the file, but it's like whoever saves last, depends on what system you're on, So if you're on the server, it just won't let you get in the drawing. It's just the open read only. But if you're on the cloud like me, like I work off Dropbox, yeah, two people can be in the same drawing at the same time, but whoever saves last will trump.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's no feature like in the civil side. I'm on the civil side that I can make a modification on a storm system in a utility base while somebody else is making a design change in a water system. It's not gonna override the other person's drawing. So I won't see the storm system revision if I'm in the same file, I'm revising water. Kind of a downfall about that kind of in Civil 3D side of it. So some people just separate utilities and stuff. I'm like,
I see.
a lot of analysis tools. I guess how often with these third-party companies do you collaborate with that you give them feedback to try to update the apps? Are you in constant communication with them? Say, hey, I wish you would update this feature, or hey, I want to be on the beta team so you can update this for our workflow. Do they constantly update the apps, or is it just like once a year they just release a new version?
Some of them do. Depends
That's
on
really good.
PyRevit is open source, so you can create an issue, and then you can say, "This is a nice feature," and then the team reviews it and whatnot. Or there is an error. DieRoots is very, I've sent them many times. Oh, this is having issues. This command doesn't work this way, or it's crashing. Blah blah, and they'll check it, fix it. I mentioned Keynote Manager, the OG Keynote Manager, I call it. Stephen Faust, I've worked with him since, 2007, 6, something like that, when he created that tool for his own company. Company meaning like he worked at a structural engineer, and I have done something in AutoCAD. So when he switched to Revit, it was like, whoa, and then he just was open to everything what I was suggesting, and
that's whatnot. Good. That's good.
Autodesk does too, even for that matter, So
on the civil side, since I have our own custom suites for my company, I'm in constant contact with my clients, and we update our apps instantly. Like we'll get a recommendation if it's possible. We'll actually update it and send it right back to them the next day. So
wow.
We cater to our clients and stuff. And I was kind of curious what the Revit parties, what they do. But yeah, we're pretty quick with our apps. We constantly update it. We get new features, and hey, can you add this setting? We'll go update it. Boom, back out to the next day.
Yeah, so, depends on the author too. What their stuff, like capabilities and stuff are, but
and a lot of them are really aggressive about pushing out the updates. For instance, DieRoots, suddenly you wake up and boom, you've got a pop-up that shows up, prompting you to download the latest updates. Environment, they have this pop-up that comes up all the time, and what's really neat is that their pop-up will list out all of the new features that they've come up with, and it's kind of like, come on, download us. Download the latest updates. Take advantage.
Download me. It's kind of like YouTube, subscribe, download me. But okay. Well, I thank both of y'all coming online, sharing y'all's favorite Revit third-party apps. I learned a lot, watching both of y'all taking advantage of these apps to be more productive and efficient. And that's what I do on the civil side, especially on the Civil 3D side, is trying to create stuff that will really benefit people and help streamline work processes and stuff like that. So we recorded the webinar. We'll upload it to our YouTube channel. I'll post it also on our.
You gotta run.
So we'll post both the videos on both those locations. And but I'll appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.